Adrian Newey is leaving Red Bull. What? So there's breaking news. I want to just get straight into it. We'll talk about it as we go. So I was just scrolling through Twitter when I came across a post by Toby Gruner. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but he works for Auto Motorsport, AMUS. You will see a lot of their posts on social media. And it states that there is a source that they have, that Adrian Newey is leaving Red Bull. Now, I thought we'd just talk about this a little bit. Adrian Newey has been at Red Bull, God, I don't know how many years he's been at Red Bull now, but it feels like a lifetime. And the question is, where would he end up going? Let's just look through the article a little bit first. So, obviously, we had the bombshell at the beginning of the season that Lewis Hamilton's going to Ferrari. I'm not sure if this would be as big of a bombshell, but it's certainly pretty huge. Red Bull still has Pierre Wash, who's, I think, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong as well, but that's a big part of Red Bull. And in fact, Max Verstappen has come out and said, one person doesn't make the team. And yes, Adrian Newey's important, but there's a whole team of people, and losing one person wouldn't, be as big as people are making out. So they're kind of making it seem a lot less important, or making Adrian Newey seem a lot less important than maybe other people are. But Adrian Newey, while he's taken a bit of a step back recently, he's still got all of the knowledge and experience, especially in this ground effect era. And having someone like him on board for 2026, when the regulations change a little bit, could be really important. So according to this article, Newey is said to be unhappy about the power struggle that's going on. We know right now there's some sort of struggle between Christian Horner, Helmut Marko, the whole situation with the Austrian side and the owners. It's been messy, hasn't it? Obviously, the incident with Horner and the member of staff, that's still ongoing. That's being appealed. That's also in the background there. But I just don't think Newey's very happy with this whole power struggle situation. Apparently, according to this article as well, he's worried about being pushed into the RB17 hypercar project. The Aston Martin Valkyrie is going to Aston Martin as well. I'm not sure if he's involved directly with that, but either way, he still wants to be in Formula One, according to this article. And it even says here that while he's no longer designing the entire car himself, he's still got a passion for doing that. Now, his contract doesn't run out until the end of 2025. So let's say he did decide at the end of this season, I'm leaving Red Bull, I'm going to go to Ferrari, Aston Martin, Mercedes. He would probably have something in his contract that would say he'd be on gardening leave, I imagine. That's usually something that employees are put on, so they can't just go immediately to another team. So the question is, when would he leave if these, rumors are to be true? And I will say these are reputable news outlets. It's been picked up by the BBC as well. The BBC have posted it. So I do think this has got legs. AMUS are very good, and they wouldn't post this stuff if it didn't have truth to it. We know that recently Adrian Newey was spotted near Maranello, and people have put two and two together and said, oh my God, he's going to Ferrari. But that was actually debunked when it released. It turns out he was testing cars in the region. It was nothing to do with going to see Ferrari. That being said, you have to assume that Frederick Vasseur would be very keen on the services of Adrian Newey. Now, if you've read Adrian Newey's book, you will know that there's a couple of things that, I wouldn't say regrets, but two things he's always said. He's always said he wanted to work with Lewis Hamilton, and he's also said that I wouldn't say regrets, but he's missed the opportunity to go and work for Ferrari. Now, Frederick Vasseur has been very good so far, I think, at Ferrari. Would they just put pen to paper and just throw the checkbook at Adrian Newey? I don't know. I think that'd be very interesting if Adrian Newey went to Ferrari. The other option is Aston Martin. Now, Aston Martin is arguably the best option on the cards here because of his connection, Adrian Newey's connection to Aston Martin, the hypercar. He's also been building road cars, the Valkyrie especially. So that would actually but in some respects it would be a sideways step. But he's going to Aston Martin. he'd be reunited with people he's worked with before. Would he want a fresh challenge, or would he be happy going to Aston Martin? They'd be working with Honda in 2026. Familiar people, familiar sort of... I don't know if that's something he'd want to do. The other question is, if he went to Ferrari, presumably he'd have to move to Italy. And is that something he'd want to do or be happy to do at this point in his life? Those are big things to consider. The final option, of course, is Mercedes. Toto Wolff has been talking about how he's trying to get Max Verstappen. I think people think that if Max Verstappen sees Adrian Newey going to Mercedes, that's going to push him over the edge and take a drive at Mercedes. I don't think that's going to be the case, because Max himself has kind of toned down what Adrian Newey's worth is at Red Bull. He hasn't said he's not, obviously he's Adrian Newey, but he's made it quite clear that there's other people in this team that contribute and are very, very important, and one person doesn't make the team. So I'm not sure he'd see Adrian Newey going to Mercedes and go, okay, yeah, I'll go over there. But you have to assume that Toto Wolff would be extremely keen to get Adrian Newey. That Mercedes team has been in downfall now for a few years. I think his expertise would certainly be welcome. I think those are the three options: Ferrari, Mercedes, Aston Martin. Obviously, this hasn't been confirmed, and I appreciate it hasn't been confirmed, but these sources are very, very reputable. The question is, when would he go? I get the feeling that if Adrian Newey, and we might find out over the next few months as all of these pieces of the driver market get put into place, if Adrian Newey did end up going somewhere else, if he went to Ferrari, Mercedes, Aston Martin, I get the feeling he wouldn't actually be able to start there until 2026 at the earliest. So their 2026 cars would likely already have been made and designed at that point, because I don't really see how Red Bull, within their contract with Adrian Newey, would allow him to go straight to another team the year after. There has to be something in place there that would stop him from doing that. So, Adrian Newey. Honest, this whole season, in terms of interest, has kind of been outside of the racing on the track, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm very interested to see what happens with Adrian Newey and where he goes. I do think it would be incredible if he went to Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, Frederick Vasseur, Charles Leclerc, Adrian Newey. I think that would be a bit of an interesting story. That would be more of an interesting story than just sidestepping to Aston Martin. But Aston Martin's near where he lives. He wouldn't have to move country. I think Aston Martin seems like the most logical place for him to go. We'll see. I'll keep you updated on the story. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.